fans. This is Dog Talk. I am Jenna Moser and co-hosting with Michelle Augustavo-Fisher, just a couple of Husky alums who are currently working with the UW Women's Basketball Program, and we are interviewing other Husky alums who we just want to hear from and want to reminisce a little bit, chat about what they've been up to. And so, yeah, we hope everyone's all doing well and staying healthy. And our guest today is Loree Payne. So thanks for joining us, Loree.
Loree! Yeah, so we're super pumped to have Loree on today. Husky fans, obviously a familiar face. We know Loree well. She's decorated all of our other record books. An all-time scorer. She's won a gold medal. She was an All-American. Now she's a very successful college coach. So we're super, super excited to have you on with us today, Loree. Maybe just kind of just give us a little update on, what you're doing now. Obviously, we mentioned you were coaching, but kind of where you're at, what you're doing, and what do you think about this coronavirus that's going on?
Oh, wow. What we're living in right now.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. It's exciting to be back. Anytime I can be engaged with the Husky community, I'm very excited to do that. Since leaving UW, it's 20 years. Wow, that's crazy. But I immediately got into coaching. So I've coached a few places. Actually did a little stint back at UW as an assistant, like 2007 to 2010, coaching Michelle. So
yeah,
a lot of full circle stuff. But
yes.
After UW, I took a head coaching position down at the University of Puget Sound, so in the Seattle area, and coached there for 7 years. Had quite a bit of success there, and decided I wanted to get back into the Division I ranks, and got the head job down at Northern Arizona University. Very excited going into my 4th year. It was a program that was not very good when we took it over, and we've kind of turned things around in 3 years, and we're excited. We came up to play Washington 2 years ago, and we're coming back this year. So it's I love the Husky family, and very excited to get back up there this fall. But hopefully we do get up there this fall. Let's hope for that.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Coronavirus is I think changing everything within college sports, and it'll be interesting to see how things proceed for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll get into our questions now. We'll get into the nuts and bolts here. We want to learn more about what Loree thought during her career. So Loree, what sports did you play growing up, if you played any others, and why did you end up choosing basketball?
Well, growing up in Montana, you had to play other sports. So small town in Montana. I played volleyball, basketball, and ran track. Basketball was kind of my passion, my love, so I kind of did the other sports just for fun and to help with me having success on the basketball court. So all 4 years of high school, won a couple volleyball state championships, won a basketball state championship, and a track and field high jump state championship.
What?
Small town.
High jumper. I did not know that.
Wow. I didn't do the running thing like you do with my teammates. It was definitely not the running. It was the jumping. So high jump and triple jump and javelin, random combination. But
that's awesome. That's really, really cool. No, Jenna and I were laughing yesterday. We were talking to Kayla Burt. Obviously, we know Kayla, and we were talking with her yesterday, and she was also a multi-sport athlete, and Jenna and I both were as well, and we're like, man, hopefully this will inspire the younger generation. You can play more than one sport. Like,
changed so much. I mean, what we were talking about before, it's like this whole kids on campus on the summer. Back when I played, we pretty much were on campus for the year and then went home in the summer. So it's taken us back about 20 years.
I know it is. Oh, man.
Okay, so grew up in Montana. Mm-hmm. And then what made you choose UW? Why go farther west?
It was probably the biggest, closest school to Montana. I wanted my family to be able to come out to see me. I got a lot of pressure to stay in state, but made that decision to, I really wanted to play at the highest level I was capable of. And, Washington, once I came out and visited, I fell in love with Seattle. I knew it was like a one-day road trip for my family who everywhere. So they could get in the car on a Thursday morning and get out to Seattle for our game that night. And so it was kind of the best of both worlds, getting to play at the Pac-10 back then. But also being able to have my family there to support.
Yeah, definitely. So when you first arrived on campus, what was that first, oh shoot moment? I'm not in Montana anymore, big dog anymore.
There was many of those, my friend. You know, the town I grew up in was 12,000 people, and my graduating class was like 130, and my whole school was like 400 kids, right? And my first lecture at UW, I remember, it was in Kane Hall, and like 800 people there, and I'm like, wow, this is kind
more
of
than my high school.
coolest. You're the best school, and the campus is 3 times the size of my town. So that was a little bit of a shocking, but the cool thing about Washington is that, you know, it is a smaller community, especially the athletic department is like a small community within a bigger community. So I never felt like it was too big or that I got lost in the shuffle of things. It was definitely, that was kind of my, on the personal side, oh shoot moment. And then probably the first day of conditioning was also that to have to run 12 200s to like pass. It was our conditioning test to pass to be able to start practice. And yeah, it gave us all nightmares, I think.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yep.
Relate to that.
Yep. We definitely can. Those just don't go away. I feel like those are the memories that you remember more than like games. It's like on the line. You're like, oh God, if I hear those words, I just get
run it in the stadium on the outdoor track.
Yeah.
Like even to this day, like I'll still walk into a football stadium or a track, and there's that smell. It's like
the smell.
You know, being doubled over on the sideline, like not being able to breathe and thinking you're gonna die. But other than that, you know, it was great.
It's cool to be on the field. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, it is like that smell, that track smell. Oh, I just can't get it out. Yeah.
I love it. Okay. So after you adjusted a little bit more, what do you remember as being like one of your favorite games or a couple of your favorite games? Because you guys went to the NCAA tourney a couple times and you were in the NCAA group.
Yeah.
What is like your fondest memories of your best games or what?
Well, I think one of the things is when I came in as a freshman, we did not have a very good team. We were 8-22, and we turned it around to my sophomore year to where we were 22-10. So it was like a complete switch from a program that needed a little boost to having one of the most successful teams, you know, up until they went to the Final Four a few years ago. But, you know, one of the first really successful teams there, you know, and just having that culture change and just understanding has really inspired me in my profession when, you know, I'm currently in a program that was not very good, and now we've tried to turn that around. So my experiences as a player definitely inspired me in my profession. But going back to the games, I mean, that second year, so when we turned it around and we were 22-10, that was the year that we went to the Elite Eight. And that was the year that in the first round, we went out to Florida and played Old Dominion in the very first round, and we won on a last second buzzer beater that Megan Franza to me on a little play with so that was just some really cool memories, and being able that year to come back for regionals and play in Spokane. And I think there was like 10,000, 12,000 people there, and it was like in our home state. So that's something that I will never forget, being one game away from the Final Four. And just it's a memory that I'll definitely cherish forever.
Yeah, man, it gives me goosebumps. That is so cool. Yeah,
March Madness.
I know.
Here.
I know.
Just think how great it's going to be next year, March Madness. With
true, very, very true.
We'll take advantage of it, and we'll get a little bit more, I think.
I know, won't take it for granted at all anymore. I'm like, I didn't do anything to deserve not having this.
I know, right? That's awesome. I mean, you know, I think Jenna, you might have been a little bit younger, but I mean, obviously I grew up watching, you know, your team, and it was some of the best basketball I've ever seen, you know, and just being able to, you know, witness that, and you're inspired by it, and hopefully that'll continue to bring inspiration to our teams to come, you know. What about some of your funny memories with your team? Let's hear some of the funny stuff.
Oh man. Well, a lot of it is tied to that trip when we went down to the NCAA tournament. So we were down there, we played at Florida, beat Old Dominion first round, beat Florida on their home court second round, and we had a little bit of time before we came back. and we went to like some amusement park. It was like a knockoff of Disney, right? We were all out riding rides and everything, and we got caught in this huge like downpour, and we all wanted to stay, but it was like halfway through the day, and I have pictures still of all of us being just soaking wet, but it was fun. We knew we were going home to play, so it was a pretty fun experience. And then my first year, we got to go to Hawaii over Thanksgiving, so that was kind of memorable. It was my first time ever to Hawaii, so it was.
Oh, cool.
And then our foreign trip to Australia was a memory that I'll never forget. I got to do that, I think, after my junior year. So just tons of, I mean, where this little orange ball has taken us and
I know.
the opportunities it's given us is pretty fun. But I would say a lot of tears of joy and tears of craziness were around conditioning practices. I remember trying to get a hold of the practice plan. You know, we would the practice plan and see how many 3-minute drills. That was the big encore thing that we had. And, you know, it's like, who can take a look at, you know, see how many we have and what the day is going to look like and all the things that you worry about that now as coaches, you know, that your players are probably worrying about. So we try to like mitigate all of those extra stresses that I remember anxiety about when we were players.
They still do that every day. What are we doing for practice day, Coach?
I'm like, I'm just gonna post it. So those secrets, you're good.
Yeah, exactly. I always am just like, here you go. This is what we're doing. Oh, okay. I'm like, it's not because it's nothing we haven't done before. We're gonna make it. It's okay. Oh man.
I still though. I look at it too, not even participating in practice.
Yeah.
It might be a little longer today. That's one of the questions we ask, because I still have like our conditioning tests as fast as for you. Like one of your worst conditioning sessions, like those memories are like charred into my
I know, it's like preseason 12-200s. First part of when we start practice, 3-minute drills. Like those are things that you, and the word baseline, like get on the baseline.
You're like, So LP, did you guys do 12-200s every year that you were there, or did you guys change it up? Or
every year? Well, I think maybe towards my senior year, we adjusted that a little bit. But we did 3-minute drills my first year, and then those kind of went out the way.
What are 3-minute drills?
Yeah, tell us about that.
So you get on the baseline, and I've had like the only time that we do it, like if a kid's late or something, like it's like once, that's the only time we ever do it here. Basically, you get on the baseline, 3 minutes up on the clock. You have to go down, back, down, back, down, back through the free throw line we had to do it in like 33, 34.
Okay.
And then you get the rest of the minute to rest. And then you go 2, and then you go with the 1. And if you miss any of them, then you still have to finish it out, but you get one added on to the like end of practice. And I remember this practice, we did 3 of them in practice, and June would like insert them randomly. So that's why you want to get a hold of the practice, because you're like, man, if we have to do that after scrimmage, like, you have to like mentally prepare yourself for these 3 minutes.
Totally. Man, that's crazy. So do you find yourself as a head coach now implementing some of that stuff, like some of those really tough ones? Or are you like, I didn't like it, I don't want to?
I think a little bit, because there was some that like you hated the drills, but you knew that they made you better. So those are some of the things we'll do, but some of the drills that I absolutely hated and I felt like didn't do anything, we don't do those ones.
Yeah. Is conditioning a big part for you guys at NAU? You guys condition a lot?
No, not really.
No.
I mean, we play a lot in practice, so we do a lot of scrimmaging. We do a lot of conditioning with the ball, I guess.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we have a great strength and conditioning coach who kind of gets the kids ready for when practice is going to start, so we don't have to spend a lot of time just getting them in shape. I mean, once official practices start, we're pretty much scrimmaging and doing scrimmage drills for the up and down stuff. And we play a pretty high tempo game, and we put up a lot of points. So it's important that we get those game type scenarios in practice.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's good. I mean, I haven't been a head coach yet or anything, but I find myself feeling the same. Like, I didn't like that stuff. I don't want to have to put my kids through that. But there are some drills that are very beneficial, and I'm like, man, that sucked, but I was in the best shape of my life. Like, I know this is going to be good.
Off sometimes they're like, oh, come on, because I'll feel like I'll see them on the baseline, and they're like, oh, I'm so tired, and I'll be like, oh. a free throw to knock it off. And my coach
Yeah.
was, come on, Payne. Like,
I know. No, I get it.
What a player's coach is about, right?
Exactly.
Still fresh in mind.
Exactly. All right, let's see. What about, I mean, obviously, Laura, you've had such a phenomenal career as a player and now as a coach, but what about one or two or three, whatever, of your proudest moments?
I think just going away to school and getting a degree from the University of Washington and playing at the highest level that, I was capable of. I think that's something that I'm really proud of, and kind of getting outside of, the small town community and spreading my wings a little bit. And then obviously getting into coaching, and, the impact that we have on these young women's lives are so powerful. And so to be able to pay it forward a little bit and, take the things that I learned from my experience in college and being able to apply that to, my team and our team culture is a big piece. But, obviously being part of one of the most successful teams in program history is something that, I will carry with me forever. Like, we talk as a team about playing in the NCAA tournament and, winning that championship. And it's hard when they haven't been there yet. And so you want them to feel that, like, you want it so bad for them to experience what cutting down the nets feels like, or what playing in the NCAA tournament, because it's different. It's a whole new ball game, and just the energy and the vibe from it. And I want my players to experience that during their time in our
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I never played in one as a player, but as a coach, I've been in one, and it's a whole nother level. And you just you want to be able to give it to them and explain it to them, but you just can't until you're in it. It's just something special. It's really unbelievable.
Bottle it up.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
And obviously I know you all talked to Kayla yesterday, but being part of just her story was such a tremendous thing. Very fortunate to not have lost her, but I think that took our team and really bonded us. And going through an experience like that is life-changing. It's perspective changing. And I think to experience that at such a young age for most of us, I mean, I was 21, and it's like you have a life-altering experience, and it changes your outlook. And, but just proud of the way our team came together with that, and, really helped save her life. And now look at her. I mean, she's loved life.
I know.
Around and
like what you guys all went through with that is, I mean, we were all choked up yesterday on the call with her. It was unbelievable. And I mean, you were right there firsthand with her. So I would be proud of that as well. That's tough stuff. So
this is a great segue, because this is the point in the conversation with Kayla too, when we were talking about her biggest inspiration, and she was talking about her teammates. She's talking about you guys and how you got her through all those ups and downs of her college career. And we just want to touch on your biggest inspirations throughout playing, coaching, and all.
Yeah, I mean, I think I take a lot of inspiration from different areas. I mean, growing up, I love that The Last Dance is on right now, because it's Michael Jordan was my growing up, and my dad and I would watch the Bulls and watch the team that this documentary is about. And I remember watching Michael Jordan Come Fly With Me and all that stuff, and then going out on the driveway and trying to do this. And I mean, it was truly like Mike, and, it's one of those things that I think really inspired me to want to be a basketball player. And, so as a player, that was very inspiring. It's fun having these conversations with our current kids, because they didn't grow up in that era. Born then, just how the game has changed, and how those inspirations and how the professional game has changed so much. But it's fun to get different perspectives, and I think it gives them a little bit of insight into us as coaches, because that was kind of our era, and now moving into the new era. I think it just connects us all. Coaching, obviously, I get inspired by these coaches that take programs and turn them around, and the team culture piece, and just like I said, the impact that coaches can have on student athletes' lives is inspiring. And when it doesn't feel like a job, that you're in the right profession. And I feel like it's not a job. It's, being part of these kids' lives and helping, mentor them and get them ready for the real world.
Definitely. Obviously you played a huge role, on the team when you were on the team, not only just like the Elite Eight, but what type of leader were you, as a player back then, and then as a coach now? I mean, we know you were a 3-time captain when you were at UW, but tell us a little bit about your leadership style as a player and now as a coach.
Yeah, I think my leadership style has really evolved. Like as a player coming in as a freshman, it was eye-opening a little bit, but I was a major contributor my freshman year. And so I was kind of put in that position to where even though I was a freshman, I had to really learn how to be a little bit of a leader. I think my freshman year, I brought kind of that work ethic. I mean, there's not much to do in Montana besides play basketball, So I think I was just a gym rat. Like I was in the gym all the time. And so I think that was a little bit of my leadership my first year of just, putting that work in and leading by example. And then I think as I matured and got more experience, I think I started to find my voice and, became kind of the lead by example and lead by voice by the time I graduated. And, I think I attribute that to my coaching staff and them helping me develop as a leader and also my teammates. I mean, we had one of the best leaders in the history of UW with Juliana Mendiola. And, she was a huge piece of just me continuing to push me as a leader as well. In the coaching profession, I think you develop and you kind of adjust based upon the kids that you have in your program. And, I would definitely say that I'm a player's coach, and I feel like, I can really be invested in our kids' lives and, build those relationships and have that mutual respect there. I think the more you build trust and respect with your players, the more that you're going to be able to push them and challenge them to reach their potential. And I feel like, it's ever evolving, and I'm learning every year and every day how to be a better leader. But, I feel like it's coming along, and, we have great kids in our program that makes it easy to be their leader.
Yeah. I mean, I can attest to that. You were my coach for 2 years, and I mean, you said it, you're definitely a player's coach. And I mean, you inspired me, to get into coaching. And I think one thing that, people should know about you and that I loved about you is that you cared about us as people, and I think that that's something that's huge that oftentimes I think coaches can not forget, but occasionally get wrapped up in, what we do and wins and all this and that. But I think you've always kept a really good head about, are you okay as a person, and taking people aside, making sure that, that we were okay. And I know me and many of my teammates would agree that we wouldn't have made it through without you. So we appreciate you for that. And I'm appreciative of you.
It's really important.
You could also shoot three pretty well, so I like getting in the
I was just trying to follow your lead. That was it.
But it helps when you're putting points on the board, Shelly.
That's all. At that point, that was all I could do. So I was like, Loree, just show me your ways. Like, let me just try to do that. But
really important today, like all the mental health concerns and stuff too, to be invested in how people are growing as humans, because there's so much off-court distraction. And so to hear that is really nice, because being recently removed, like there's a lot of pressures that maybe weren't there when we were younger, and even when like you guys were playing. So that's really great to hear.
I think the other piece with that is also, being in women's basketball, like, there's a lot of professional options and people can play in the W or go overseas, but at some point that ends, and we have to do something professionally. Like we're not blessed in the position to where we can, live off of the money that you make playing professionally. And so it's one of those things of just preparing your student athletes for life after basketball, whether that's as soon as they graduate or whether that's, 10 years after they've played professionally. But at the end of the day, there's always life after basketball. And that's the most important thing, I think, in just getting your kids ready to go impact the world in whatever they decide.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I know for me personally as a coach now, like that's what my biggest thing is that I strive to do, is make sure that Jenna, you guys, and whoever, that I end up coaching are ready for the real world. Cause like you said, I think that's the most important thing. And it's easy to lose sight of that when you're kind of in the throes of basketball, but it's like, all right, basketball is going to come to an end someday.
Right.
So yeah. Do you know how to budget? Do you know how to, write a check? Or I guess you don't use checks anymore, but do you know how to pay your bills? Like, do you know that kind of stuff? So that's
all those life skills that you have to learn pretty quickly.
Exactly.
Okay, Loree. So you talk about like the swing from your freshman to your sophomore year in this 8-win season, and basically just flipping it and going to the Elite Eight. What would you say there's a moment in there that was like very formative, or was it like over time? Like when was the moment when you guys were like, or you personally were like, okay, we're changing this thing. It's gonna be for the best.
Yeah, I think it was after the end of that season to where I think we were just all so disappointed in, only having 8 wins. And, we knew we didn't want to be a part of a program that wasn't a winning program. And, I think our coaches did a great job of going out and recruiting. I mean, they recruited the Mendiolas, they recruited Alum. And so we got some really talented players in. And I think us that were returning, we kind of took a self-awareness check, I think, after that season and really committed that spring and, that summer to put in a lot of work so that we could have more success that following year. And once we got the freshmen in, I think we were able to empower them to do what they were capable of doing. And, Juliana came in as a freshman and was a great leader for us. And, I think she helped propel that program forward. And, and I think it showed that next year when we were able to turn things around so quickly. But it was just more of we kind of made up our minds that, hey, we're going to turn this thing around, and we have the ability to do that. And we just got to work a little bit harder and stay a little bit more together and change our team culture a little bit. And, I think it helped. Like a couple kids transferred out, and we were all right with that. Like we needed to get the right people on board to move the thing forward.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, and segues us into our next question really well. Just, what advice would you give our current players, that are we're in this kind of rebuilding type of phase. We, similar to you, we took over when they had just gotten off of going to a Final Four, and, Kelsey left, and it was like, oh boy, like we kind of had our work cut out for us, and have had wonderful players like Jenna who have helped us build a culture. But, we're getting a little bit better each year, but we're not there yet, and now we're in the number 1 conference in the country with, the best of the best every night. So what advice, would you give our current kids right now?
I would say enjoy the process and embrace the chase of being successful. And that might mean, putting in extra time or sacrificing some of the other things to get there. But at the end of the day, your college career is 4 years. And,
right.
Everyone that has graduated and looked back is like, man, I wish that I would have gone a little bit harder. I wish I would have put a little extra time in. And so, those kids that are in the program right now still have the opportunity while they're there to give that extra 1%, that extra 2%. And, it makes a world of difference. If everyone does that, it changes that team culture and just to buy in. I mean, basketball is such a ebbs and flows of successful seasons and team culture. And, there's so many dynamics that go into a successful team. And I think just really recognizing your place in that and, being present and being where your feet are and really committing to your teammates and your coaches and UW and the program that has such a rich tradition of success and, just understanding that the legacy that came before them and what legacy they want to leave on the program. And, it's exciting. It's exciting to watch you all, getting more success. And it was a tough time. I mean, you have a very talented group with Kelsey, like the best player in Washington basketball history.
Right.
There's rebuilding years and there's years where you have a lot of success, and just really, I think embracing all of those different dynamics is an important piece. And enjoy it. It goes by fast.
Yeah.
Don't take it for granted at all. All the everything that you have at UW, it is one of the best universities in the country, and all the way around from the people to the programs. And so really just, I guess owning that experience and, taking an ownership in your 4 years is an important piece.
Yeah.
Agree.
Awesome. Yeah.
Goes of yesterday. we always talk about, we're like, it's a privilege. It's such a big privilege.
Yeah.
To just have been at UW and still be there and to claim that. Great segue. You're doing a great job working us through all of our questions.
I had a lot of experience with Zoom, man. All of us. Like, it's the human interaction now that's going to be weird when we get all
I
back.
know. Like, can we hug or can we yeah.
I know, right? Air fives for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so we touched on a little bit of like you as a coach wanting to prepare your players for life. And just the basic life skills, but how do you feel like UW prepared you for life? Like coming from Montana, you made that leap.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you feel like you gained specifically from choosing UW?
Oh, sorry.
I have so much gratitude towards my experience at UW. It is, like I said, one of, if not the best university and athletic departments in the country. And I think just the people make that so great there. You see people that have played in the program that are now coaching and staying in the program. I think that speaks a lot about the athletic department culture. When I was a player, Jen Cohen was actually like an intern in the department, and now just seeing like how powerful of a leader she is something that is very inspiring. And to be able to take over one of the best athletic departments in the country and really take it to the next level is an incredible thing. UW has prepared me. It opened so many doors for me in coaching, and obviously I was able to get my foot in the door after being here. And all the great experiences, you take that and you want to apply that into my current team. And then even the not so great experiences, you always take that silver lining and you learn from those. And, you really kind of take the good and the bad and knowing that you have a degree from one of the best places in the country and a highly academic institution is something that, I'm very, very grateful for. And, I appreciated everything that when I was there as a player.
Awesome.
Well,
yeah, so I think we're getting close to the end here, but we have a couple freshmen coming in. We're going to get some new Huskies here on campus pretty soon. I was just saying, did you guys have bridge back when you played? Okay. So we have leap now. It's very similar, but
so when I was coaching there, that's when they kind of made the transition from the bridge program to the leap program.
To the leap program, yeah. So now leap is going to be online because of all this COVID-19 stuff. But we have 3 freshmen coming in that we're really excited about. Super eager to get on campus. And what would you say to them? I know you're going to have your own freshman coming in as a head coach, but just as a Husky, what would you say to these future Huskies that are going to step foot on campus here soon?
Utilize your teammates sources, ask a lot of questions, and don't be afraid to speak up, and just really immerse yourself in the culture of UW athletics and UW women's basketball, and that will put you in a great place to start having a lot of success.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's great.
Freshmen coming into, and they're going to be doing all our earn your plaid lumberjack probably is going to be online, and navigating through all of that and trying to keep them connected. And
it's such a bummer because I like leap and Brit, like that's such a cool thing. You get to go explore Seattle and you get to know, all these kids that except for one are from out of state, so it's a great opportunity to get acclimated and stuff, but we'll get them acclimated, when they get on campus. So
they just won't know what we look like from here down. They'll learn.
Oh man.
Was that our final question, Shelly?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
no. Now that you're accustomed to these, you have your answers.
Yeah.
Like perfectly laid out. I'm like rambling through them, and you're like, "This lady's been suppressed."
I thought through it a little bit before.
Yeah. No, she's a Zoom pro. I guess this is all we do is Zoom.
Yeah, we're getting better.
Yeah, no, that was awesome, Loree. Any closing thoughts or anything that you want to say to any fans or anything like that?
I'm excited to come back up there this year.
Yeah.
I just love just being around the Husky faithful, and was such a big part of my experience there as a player and even as a coach there, of just the loyal fans. And, you want to sell that place out and have them, come in to support the program. And they're pretty awesome, the fans there.
Yeah, they're still there, and they'll be thrilled to see you on our. I don't know how we're gonna end up airing this, but we're gonna try to start like a YouTube channel or something, and then turn it into a podcast for those that want to just like listen as they're doing something. But like Jenna and I said before, we just really appreciate you, and just really want to connect to our alums and make sure that, people know who some of the Husky greats are that paved the way for them. I think it's really important for us as coaches now to, make our players aware of what was, before them, to show appreciation and be grateful for the fact that you just get to put on a Washington jersey every day. I think we get lost in that a lot, and that's something that we try to instill in our players every day. So, we appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for making time. We know you're busy. So appreciate it.
Good. You find you have a lot more time these days on these Zooms. I mean, I think one day I was like 6 hours straight. I'm like, man, I got to plug my computer in.
I know. I know.
Well, I look forward to coming back up there in November, and it'll be fun to see all the familiar faces.